Sometimes people who experience frustrations, hurt, anger, and difficulty at home or in class will direct those negative emotions outwards onto others by bullying. A sense of being ignored or neglected can sometimes lead a person to bully someone else so that they can feel powerful, in control, and be more visible to others. But whatever the reason, bullying is just never acceptable. Over 3.2 million students are victims of bullying each year. Approximately 160,000 teens skip school every day because of bullying. 17% of American students report being bullied at least 2 to 3 times a month or within a school semester. Today, we will meet Mark Moore, who was the skinny, unathletic, slow-learning, wore braces and glasses, pimple-faced student who was a prime-time bully target. We will learn from Mark about his journey of bouncing back from bullying into martial arts fitness expert, who also will demonstrate for us some self-defense moves. Let's get started. Hello, I'm Lisa Bien, and welcome to Bouncing Back.
God makes a way.
Be honest and communicate.
Be your authentic self.
That's so critical. Thanks for joining us on this edition of Bouncing Back. Let's welcome our guest. From 2nd grade to 9th grade, making friends, fitting in, and always in constant fear made life pretty tough for Mark Moore. With a family history of depression, suicide, drugs, and prison, his future was just not looking too promising either. Thanks to a friend, Mark was introduced to his first martial arts program, and his first mentor was his sensei. Learning self-defense, goal setting, and leadership, life got better, and he was hooked. So he was so hooked and he committed himself to martial arts and fitness and personal self-development as a way of life. His journey led him to operating his own martial arts self-development center. Now he gets to give back that amazing feeling of personal accomplishment to hundreds of students, as well as the local community. Thanks to the martial arts, he was able to turn his pain into gain and bounce back from a future that looked like a nightmare, but ended up being a dream of hope, inspiration, and giving. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Lisa, for having me.
It's my pleasure. Looking at you, though, I think, wow, this kid was bullied. What's he talking about?
Yeah, well, so I'm so strong and jacked up nowadays, right?
So I want to talk first about what it felt like to be bullied. You know, we hear about it all the time. We talk about bullying. You know, sometimes in our world, we hear words used over and over, and we become immune to it, the feelings that people feel. So tell us your story, and then share it with us how that made you feel to be bullied.
Sure. Well, you know, my backstory wasn't looking too promised to moving forward. You know, I did come up from a family that has a history of depression, drugs, alcohol, and even murder. So moving forward just from that point was not looking too promising. And then adding on to that, being the skinny, unathletic kid, not the smartest kid. I was the slowest learner. I was in the slowest classes. I was that little kid that was outside in the hallway while all the other kids were inside the classroom. I was still taking reading in 9th and 10th grade.
Oh, you were outside of the hallway. Oh, because they take you out when you need special.
Absolutely.
Oh, so they take you out when you need extra help. So it already makes you feel like I'm different.
Absolutely.
So the kids know that kid is different. He's getting pulled out of his class, right?
Sure,
okay.
sure. So adding on top of that, having the glasses, the braces, you know, the big teeth and the pimples, the skinny kid, not being athletic, I was just that target. I was that target that, you know, the typical cool kid saw that would be an easy target to make fun of, to boost their spirit and take my spirit away.
But they didn't take your spirit away. But before, you know, we're talking in a very young age, kids were trying to take your spirit away, right? So what advice would you have for anybody who someone is trying to take their spirit away? What did you do? You went home every day, right? Were you bullied every day?
It wasn't every day, but I was the target. You know, it was something that was consistent enough to make me feel not worthy, not make me feel like I was unaccepted.
So it made you feel not worthy. So you had a lot that you had to handle, right? So you're being bullied. These kids are making you feel like you're not worthy in some capacity. What do you do? Did you go home? Did you talk to your mom?
Well, for me, I remember the one day, it was vivid like it was yesterday. I was in 2nd grade, and I was standing outside with all the walkers. I kind of call it nowadays, it was shark-infested waters, which means that when you are a walker in school and there's no parents around, there's no teachers around, that's when you're in the water with the sharks. That's when it's the moment where bullies thrive on, because there's no one there to help you. So here I was outside. It was a cold winter day. I had this long black coat on, the book bag, and just my jolly old self, just kind of stand there by myself, Lisa. And wham, it just happened out of the blue. Kid came over and just shoved me to the ground. I get up and I'm kind of startled. I'm like, why did this just happen? Here I am standing in my own business, minding my own business, and then kid pushes me down again. And I'm struggling to get back up. I got the big book bag on me. It's hard to move. I get back up and he knocks me down again. No lie, it's the third time I get knocked down. And as I look up, these kids, they start to run over to me. And in my mind, I'm saying to myself, yes, help has arrived. But wait a second.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, right? So they arrived, but they arrived to cheer on the fight. In their minds, it's like, yeah, something's happening, enter, fight, fight, fight. And I was like, oh my goodness, they're cheering this kid on right now, which is added to the fire. Now he's got an audience. So I managed to get up and I literally run. I literally run inside the school. And once I get inside the school, I literally sit outside the main office and I just cry. Because at that point, you don't know what to do. You don't have someone to help you or guide you. And what most people do, and what I did, unfortunately, at the time, was I kept it a secret. It's not something you're proud of, because you think that you're ostracized. You think there's something wrong with you. Maybe you're supposed to get bullied. Maybe since you are in the slow kids classes, this is what's supposed to happen to you.
I'm sitting here first of all, as a mom. I'm sitting here, I want to take you and make it tell you it's going to be all better, but obviously we know it's all better. But how sad. So you're in second grade. That's such an early time in our life. We're really being, molded into the person that we are. You're being bullied, and now you're going to sit out in front of the principal's office and cry.
Yeah, absolutely.
How often did this happen?
It happened. That was one main incident that really, unfortunately, anchored in a part of my life. At that time, it anchored in the maybe I'm not supposed to be good, or anchored in the kid that's supposed to have that kind of shell look to himself. And then it would be every now and then little things. And then another incident would be in 6th grade, where I'm just holding my lunch tray. And to most people, it would maybe seem like, oh, everyone gets picked on. But for me, and for most people, it's like, no one everyone shouldn't get picked on. But it was just a compound effect of little incidents over and over and over that just kept training my brain, unfortunately, to start thinking like, maybe you are supposed to be worthless. Maybe you are supposed to not be the person that's supposed to be great, or the big athlete, or the smart kid in school.
You said something really interesting. You said, I was training my brain, and I think that's such a powerful statement, because we all train our brains one way or another. That expression, we are who we are because we have accepted or whatever, but you are such a success story. I'm like, you 2nd grade to today. So right. How did you train? How did you tell yourself that, what, I am good enough? How did you learn that? Because we all get bullied. I got picked on in 6th grade. I still remember that feeling of this girl chasing me down, and
yeah.
But maybe I was the bully back, because I went in her face and I started fighting with her. But I wasn't going to let anybody pick on me.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean?
yes.
But at the same time, it gives you these feelings of, I'm not good enough, I'm not popular enough, I'm not pretty enough, why did they pick on me? So how do we retrain our brains?
Well, for me, it happened through the martial arts. Here I was 13, my buddy Ed called me up, hey Mark, I'm going to this karate class, would you want to come with me?
It was before cell phones though, when he called you.
Yes, absolutely, yeah, landline.
He called you on your landline at home.
When you actually remember the phone numbers of other people.
That's an excellent point, right?
But he called me and I went to this class and I walked in, Lisa, I remember to this day, and I just saw around the whole facility of the dojo was trophies. And in my mind, I was like, wow, the trophies. Can you tell me,
hold on, what's a dojo?
Dojo means
anybody else, because I don't know.
In Japanese, it means dojo, means like home, place of training. So
okay.
As a martial arts school, you would call your martial arts school a dojo.
Okay.
And so I entered the dojo, which is a place of training and a place of improvement.
Is that like your place?
This wasn't my place at the time.
No, but is that similar to your place? Because I've been at your place. So is that your
yes,
dojo?
Yes,
okay,
absolutely.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I was clear and that our viewers were clear. Okay.
Absolutely. So I walk in and there's trophies all over the place. And right away, it was just a sense of like, even though I didn't accomplish those trophies, I was in someone's home that was successful. And being a kid that was being bullied, I would obviously watch the Karate Kid, martial arts movies. And when you watch martial arts movies, a lot of times the whole role is you have the one kid who's unathletic, he's not strong and confident, and he meets this instructor who inspires him to be more and become more and become, the best they can be. And then in the end, they win, they get the trophy, just like the Karate Kid and Daniel's son. So watching that and living through that and watching the movies, when I saw this dojo and I walked in, I felt like I was in the movies. I felt like, wow, like, holy cow, it's like I've seen this on TV, I've seen this in the movies, now I'm here. And the trophies are around the whole school. I took my first lesson and I was hooked, because it was like the first time that I was in an atmosphere where people respected me for who I was. They didn't judge me. And I was in an atmosphere where I was able to learn at my own pace. I was able to start exactly where I was. It wasn't like, all right, you're not good, so you can't play. It was like, you know what? I'm here for me, and this is all be about my own self-development. And after that day, like I said, I was hooked.
And you were how old then?
I was 13 at that, 13 or 14, right around there.
So how many years have you been studying?
I'm 37 now, so a little over 20 years.
Come on, I am so bad at math. So that's awesome. So
Yeah.
you've been doing this for 37 years, and it seems like it's become very much a way of life for you, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, we're going to continue our conversation about bouncing back. Welcome back. We're talking about bouncing back from bullying. Well, you have certainly taken something that started out as, adversity and have completely turned it around, and it's my honor to have you here on my show.
Thank you.
What I do want to share is your recent book,
Ooh,
which
excited.
you're very proud
Yes,
of, right?
Very
Here we
excited,
go.
Very excited.
So it is called 10 Foot Tall and Bully Proof. So tell me about the book. I did
Well,
start reading it a little bit. I really enjoyed
very
it.
cool.
It's for school age kids?
It's for school age kids. Believe it or not, I have a couple adults that read it and they're like, wow, it really impacted me.
Well, now that you say
go ahead.
that, adults, I think that there's bullying everywhere, and I think that is something that we did want to bring up. So, okay,
Sure.
so your adults are resonating with your book as well.
Absolutely. And it's, in reality, when I was going through the martial arts and I had my instructor for the first time, and he was my first mentor, and having that mentor allowed to guide me to the person that I am today. And I'll never forget sitting there. People gain confidence one of two ways, and one way is that they gain confidence is through borrowed belief, someone else believing in them, or experience. So being that 13-year-old kid in the karate school.
Say that again, the bar of belief.
Borrowed belief.
Bar of belief. Two ways people learn, because this is important
Gain
what you're
confidence,
sharing.
absolutely.
There's two ways people gain confidence, the bar of belief, and then what was the second?
Through experience.
Through experience. Okay, so let's
So
talk.
here I am, I'm
Right.
13, and I'm rocking the martial arts. I'm there every day, Lisa. It's awesome, it's exciting. I'm an orange belt, which is like a beginner, and I'm sitting in my instructor's office, and I'm still feeling, I'm enjoying the fact that I found something that I like, but I'm still having those feelings of like, am I really worth it? Do I matter? And I'm sitting in his office, and he's like, Mark. And as I'm sitting there like this, the little shy kid, with the braces and the glasses, he's like, Mark, one day you're going to make a great black belt. And when he said that, in my mind, I went, oh. It was like the most amazing
Right?
feel. Now, nothing changed. It was just that statement. He said to me, and I borrowed that belief. And once he said that, I started to walk like a black belt. I started to talk like a black belt. Even though nothing has changed, it was just the belief that he believed in me. And then from there, the experience of going to class and building my character, so to speak. And that's what the book touches on. Unfortunately, we can't control other people's opinion of us. And someone else's opinion of you should never be your reality. So
Say that again, because I love when we say good things
Absolutely.
that we can live by.
I give that credit to Les Brown. Someone else's opinion of you is never your reality.
That's an excellent thing to remember. We have to
Absolutely.
all create our own reality. And that is certainly what you've done. You've created your own reality. And there was something else you want to say. I can see it. It's all.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
We're getting
Go
to
ahead.
it now. That's awesome. And that's what the book's all about. Unfortunately, we can't control a bully's behavior or how they treat us, but we can always take responsibility for ourselves and improve ourselves, turn that pain into gain, like you said earlier. So the book is all about, and which I believe how people can overcome bullying, is by improving yourself, raising your own self-esteem, raising your own spirit. So the better you get, the better life gets. So the book is all about not so much focusing on the bully, but focusing on yourself.
But I think that one of the things that I do want to talk about, and I also want to do a demo, so we have a
Sure.
lot to do.
Yeah, you got
So,
it.
but one of the things I do want to talk about is that something that you just said. You said, don't let a bully take away your spirit. And I think oftentimes it's very hard. That's the most challenging thing. It's when you, at a work, someone's bullying you, at school, someone's bullying you, or I don't know, is there bullying at home?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
I think sometimes it could be a learned behavior.
Okay, so, and then you're bullying me. How do I not let that impact my spirit? Because let's face it, we're, as human beings, we're fragile, right? We're fragile people.
Good question. We all have a spirit battery. You know, I tell the kids when I go out to the school talks or even my own students, you know, when you use your iPad or your iPhone, what happens? The battery goes down throughout the day. And what do you need to do? When it fully goes down, it dies. So what do you do next? You charge it. So we all have a spirit and battery inside of us. So every day we all wake up and we have challenges. We all face obstacles. And throughout the day, the battery goes down. But you want to make sure you raise your spirit batteries and you have a set sequence of certain things that you like to do that inspire you throughout the day. Working out, reading, watching YouTube videos, hanging out with friends, going to a workout, going to soccer. So if every day you have these certain things that you do, they raise your spirit batteries. So the day that you encounter the bully, it's not taking you down too low. And when it does take down a bar, you're quickly to get it back up when you go back home to raise it.
I absolutely love that. Raise your spirit battery. Okay, so just tell me about your spirit battery, and then I'll let you do a real quick demo.
What do you mean?
Like, what do you do in the morning? What's your habits? I know, I have I start my day. People make fun of me, but I end my day a certain way.
Right.
A little chamomile tea and a little meditation. I start my day with an appreciation prayer. I have I have things I do every day, and the days I don't do those things, they're not as wonderful.
Right.
Right? So I love that spirit battery. What do you do?
I love that.
What is your spirit battery?
For me, every morning I wake up and I run. And when I run,
How many miles?
Well, just a 1 mile, nothing too crazy.
I thought it was gonna be like I run 4 miles.
I run, I read something positive. I review my goals because what it does, it hones me back into what's important about my life instead of letting other people dictate what should be important.
And I think that's another excellent point that you just said. You said you review your goals, and I always tell people that it's important to know where you want to go and how you're going to get there. Just to have a goal.
Yeah.
I mean, just to have a dream without goals is what, you know what I mean? Like you got to know how you want to get there, right?
A goal properly set is halfway met.
I love this.
Already almost there.
Okay, so we talked about your book. Is there anything else that you want to share about your book? How can people get it if they want to order it?
They can, right now it's privately through me for my students and when I
Okay.
go out and I do my school talks, but if they would
Okay.
like, they can check out my contact information and where I'm located, Mark Underground at Comcast.net, which is the name of the martial
I
arts
just want to
school.
make sure we can give everybody an opportunity to know where they can find
Absolutely.
this stuff. And then they can also probably go on Facebook, on your Facebook page as
Yes.
well. You're very active on Facebook, and you do a great job every morning of motivating us,
Yeah,
right? So
absolutely.
I know you're excited to be here at campus. This is your first time on Temple's campus?
Actually, what's so nice is it's my second time on a college campus with having that slow learning background. Most people, like your phone, most people when they get a new phone, the iPhone 1, iPhone 2, and iPhone 7, there's constantly an upgrade. But people forget to upgrade themselves. And a lot of times I let the 13-year-old tell me that I couldn't write a book. And sometimes you have to upgrade your mindset that you are able and capable to do more things with yourself. So being on this campus is pretty cool today, and especially to have my book, I feel like, oh man, look at me, I'm at the college campus and I got my book. I am smart.
Oh,
Right?
you're very smart.
I am
You
smart.
are smart. We are all smart in our own way.
Yeah.
All, you know what I always say? We're all born with a certain level of awesomeness.
Mm-hmm.
We're all born with a certain level of awesomeness. We need to know and recognize what that awesomeness is about. We're not all going to be great at all good things, you know what I mean? But anyway, that's a whole, we could just sit here and talk all
I
day
would love
about how
to.
to be awesome.
Next show.
No. We got to do some demos here.
Okay.
So show us, if you could, can you give us one?
Absolutely.
Or
Two, you know, 3 simple things.
Okay.
One, we have to understand, since a bully wants to take your spirit, we got to make sure that they don't take our spirit. And a lot of times it comes from that bravado. We want to make sure that our shoulders are back, our chin is up, and our eyes are forward. A bad guy or a bully, they like to look for a weak target. So we want to make sure we don't look like a weak target. So on the mat, we like to tell our kids, and it's good at home too with your kids, is have them vocalize, because they have this soft whisper voice. They never have that commanding voice. So we say, nobody takes my spirit. Go ahead, say it.
Nobody takes my spirit.
That's it. So that's like something fun for them to do at home, but in reality, that would come in handy, you know,
I
with a
love
bolt.
that. That
yeah.
felt so good.
It jolts you.
Nobody
takes
my
your spirit.
One of the things I do real quick is I
Go ahead.
also, because I bounce back from low self-esteem, and so I look in the mirror every day and I say to myself, you are loved and I love you, and you deserve all this love that you have in your life. Every day I remind myself, nobody's going to take my spirit. Oh my God,
right.
I love
And
that.
then you want to outdo each other. But then on the street, or God forbid, if they're, you know, and they're in a counter, hey, back up, do it now, don't touch me, leave me alone. So whatever you practice, it's what you become. Like we said earlier, experience. So have your child experience of stepping up their voice, their vocalness, and being confident.
Now, it's interesting you say have your kids or whatever be confident, whatever. Sometimes kids can be too confident too,
Right.
so we have to teach them.
Smile if your shoulders are back. So
Well, we have. I think we also have to teach them the importance of being confident and really meaning it too. Or after a while, I always say, fake it till you make it, right?
That's
If you're
it,
not really that
absolutely.
confident. Oh, I love that. It feels good even just to sit up like
Sure.
this. Okay, so let's say that again. Back up.
Back up.
So
Do it
somebody's
now or don't
walking.
touch me.
Do it now or don't touch me.
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
interesting.
Because bad guys don't want one of three things to happen. They don't want to get in trouble, they don't want to get caught, and they don't want to get hurt either. So if I'm in class and I'm kind of like touching you and teasing you and trying to bully you, and all of a sudden I go, hey, leave me alone. All of a sudden the teacher goes, what's going on over there? And the kid's like, oh no, I got caught. So if I keep progging you and you don't say anything, it builds and builds and builds. So just simply using your voice and your command, it really empowers you and it lets other people know that you're not a weak target.
I love that. Hey, what's it again now? If you're in class, and someone's bullying
Hey,
you.
well, whatever's happening,
Whatever's
if they're
happening.
touching, hey, don't touch me, leave me alone. But kids never practice that command. They never practice that empowerment.
Because we don't, that's a whole nother thing. We don't teach our kids enough, like how to take control of who they are and how to love themselves. We have time for one more demo. Do you have one more thing you can show
Yeah,
us?
it's really simple. Distance is your defense. The more distance I keep, the more I have time to protect myself.
Okay.
But however, if they end up getting too close, just simply take your hand like this. We're going to do what's called a palm strike. It's like a high five. You're going to use this part of your hand.
This
it could
part.
be used as a strike
'Cause I don't wanna break it
or
down.
a push. And you're going to hit that white dot, which could be the nose of the bully. Ready? One.
One or
Yeah,
two.
get it.
Oh,
Go.
okay.
You hit it. Bang. That's it again. Go. Yes. Very nice. You rock, man. Go easy. Nice job.
I don't want to do that again. That felt so
Ready?
good
One more?
between the whole. No. I feel so energized just
Now
by
when you
being
say
with you.
it, now say, get back. Go ahead.
Get back.
That's it. There you go. You rock.
Well, my thanks to our guest, Mark Moore, for sharing his very personal story. As the victim of bullying, you can experience a whole range of emotions, including anger, fear, embarrassment. But regardless of what you're feeling, overcoming bullying requires attention and then finding a way back to take your power back. We heard today how self-defense class or Taekwondo can help people develop self-confidence. Being a victim doesn't have to define your life. Today's guest showed us that there can be positive outcomes after bullying. Once again, I'm Lisa Bien, and I look forward to seeing you next time on Bouncing Back. Hello, I'm Lisa Bien, and welcome to Bouncing Back.
God makes a way.
Be honest and communicate.
Be your authentic self.
That's so critical.